Hi again, everybody. It's the 10th of February 2025. It's almost 1 o'clock. I just got out of classes, and as you see, I am at Plощad Papiery. And this is obviously Minsk. And yeah, my school's not right there, but it's kind of across the street from the building you're looking at, which is right by this building here. And yeah, kind of a famous place here in Belarus. It's one of the centers of Belarus. And this used to be called Circle Square, and it's like I've said in other videos, and it's now called like Victory Square. So, okay, let's get into this stuff. Again, my voice, this cold air, it's terrible. I think it's only about, I don't know, maybe 7 degrees below zero. Feels like about 7. Might be as warm as 5. But when it gets to be like 10 below, that's when I really feel it. So I can walk around here for a while without my fingers getting frozen. I think I can go for maybe 40 minutes, and then my fingers start to feel like I can't feel the ends, so I'd have to stop. But it isn't so bad. It's a sunny day, really nice. Some nice architecture here. Let me get a little closer to that too. Okay, U.S. aid. Man alive. Talk about this corruption that's getting uncovered. And Democrats. You even saw Bernie Sanders. He was out there. He made a video just like this one, but somebody else is holding the camera for him, and he's out for a walk, and he's saying it. You can't stop this U.S. aid. You can't stop it. It's such a great thing. And Trump is a bad guy. And Elon Musk. You know who elected Elon Musk? I would ask him, who elected George Soros? Who elected Hillary Clinton? Who elected Anthony Fauci? I mean, you can go on and on. There's a lot of these jokers around, you know. But one thing is, a lot of these people, they have a lot, you know. Elon Musk, he's already like one of the richest people on planet Earth. And I think Bernie Sanders is saying, oh, he became $150 billion richer since Trump got elected. I don't really think so. I highly, highly, highly doubt that. I don't think that's at all close to the truth. For one thing, where are the records at? You know, he might have made money. That's true. Elon Musk doesn't even really spend the money. That's really strange. He's not a guy that goes around and splurges. I don't really know what he's going to do with all that money, or necessarily what he's doing. You know, Trump, he actually gives money to certain causes quite often. So, in case some people don't know, they do have places to charge up electric vehicles here too. But I'm not really into electric vehicles. So, I wonder what's in this little courtyard here. Not that it matters. I'll bet it's, looks like some, I don't know. I always show a lot of garbage cans. Let me do this first. Probably some apartments around there too. No big deal. So let's keep going on this. Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders, he was a guy kind of synonymous, you know, with anti-corruption. But it's just astounding in how the Democrats are so intricately tied with this vast corruption. It makes me wonder why they're not embarrassed to be even doing this. And there's some of these, I don't know, I think there was a senator and a couple House of Representatives guys, you know, and they're out to saying they're going to get him, they're going to impeach Trump. I think that starts in the House of Representatives. So it's really, really something going on. They're trying to double down, you know. But look at how they've been doing things. They've been so vastly corrupt, you know, starting these things like Black Lives Matter and this LGBT stuff. And so they double down on stupid. Now, it makes you wonder if there's going to be a really big backlash, and probably the MAGA people are going to be even more entrenched by watching all this corruption and these people doubling down on it. And maybe you're going to get some of these liberals, you know, that are crying their eyes out and dyeing their hair weird colors and stuff about, you know, and maybe, you know, bonking each other, doing the circus seal, all kinds of stuff on each other, you know, because they're so angry. And I don't know what the world is all about anyway. I was reading something about how in Germany they don't turn their water on to stick it to Putin. So they're going to leave their water taps off or whatever, you know. Don't turn their heat on. Don't get hot water. Shower together, you know. Some might like that, especially if you're LGBT. I don't know. And you might drop the liquid. You just don't pick up that liquid soap, you know. But You know how these guys are. I don't know. But, I don't know, whatever. You know what I'm getting at. So let's keep going here. U.S. aid. It's not just U.S. aid. There was some federal judge, there's a rumor going around that they're going to be able to stop Donald Trump from doing this stuff, you know. And one of the main things, as I just kind of indicated, is nobody elected Elon Musk. Well, what about whenever any president sits in office and, you know, and they have cabinets, members and all that? Nobody elected any of them either. So, and then when you elect a president, you automatically elect a vice president. Technically, I don't think it's really supposed to go that way, but that's how it always goes. You know, so they run like as a team. So that's about it. Somebody probably speaks English there, was very interested. I don't know what's going on here. Kind of weird. There's still a Christmas tree, apparently. Christmas is over. Ends in January here. At some point they have the Orthodox Christmas. So, yeah, but they're trying to say that it's illegal. The Trump blocking U.S. aid makes you really wonder that it's illegal to stop something that has been proven beyond any shadow of a doubt to be stealing money from the American people, and they want to keep it going. You know, they got all the records, they got papers like you wouldn't believe it. And then here in Belarus, it's been proven already that it's like, what, 30 million US, which doesn't sound like a lot. It's a very small country, though. I mentioned that in the last video. And they know of another 30 million that's going to throw the elections over here. That's what they were using. And of course, it's small when you compare it to what Vicki Nuland admitted, that they put $5 billion into overthrowing the government of Ukraine. I mean, they come right out and said it. And there was that taped, that audio recording of Vicki Nuland 1 month before the Maidan coup d'etat. She is picking out who she's going to put in the government. She's talking to the ambassador and say, well, we're going to use this guy and we're going to put him in that position. And for one of them was like Yatsenyuk, who was kind of a, I don't know, he didn't have any more money than I have right now or something beforehand. And now he is, believe it or not, he's got $1 billion. And he's settled down in the United States somewhere with a luxury lifestyle. It's incredible. It's incredible. And then there was something out about Samantha Powers. I think she was worth, she had a lot of money when she started in U.S. aid. I think she had 7.5 million, something like that. And now she's worth over 30 million. 30 million in 3 years. Her salary is $180,000 a year. It makes you, dang, I don't see, she must be really good at saving, but I don't see how you can save more money than you've actually earned. You know, what about her rent? Is she living in New York? I have no idea. How can you amass that much money? Probably lives a luxury lifestyle besides. So what else here? And I think they already know that it's about 90% of what they bring, or what is allocated to the U.S. aid, it goes to overthrowing governments and regime changes and things like that, dirty, really stuff. And only 10% actually goes to doing things good, paying the salaries of people that are handing out aid, but it's a very small portion of U.S. aid. So, and the rest of it is for overthrowing governments. And there was that interview with Tucker Carlson, and let me see. It's a snippet that I saw online, and it was when I think Tucker Carlson asked something about Putin, and it was about like, well, why don't you do this or that? And Putin was saying, well, nobody, absolutely nobody on planet Earth can compete with the United States when it comes to these, owning the media and controlling the entire media. And basically what he's saying, with this huge propaganda machine, and it's, as we all are seeing now, it's into the, I don't know if it's into the hundreds of billions, but it's into the very, very high billions of dollars all over the world to gain control of the media. And there was this book, I was trying to get this in Germany before, and it was called Gekauften Journalisten, and what is it, in English, I forgot that, well, anyway, it was a guy that he used to work for the Frankfurter Allgemein, I believe, and he was exposing how the United States buys all of the journalists from the papers and and the TV stations and everything, gives them favors and huge amounts of money just to tweak the news things in favor of the United States and maybe against Russia. And this guy, he's even talking about how they were trained to badmouth Russia. And so this is some really shocking stuff. And I sent some of these things to a person here in Belarus, and I got this reply this morning, and I said, I was mostly trying to indicate how you people here in Belarus have been brainwashed into hating your government, and it's like, after hearing all this stuff from USAID, I mean, it's like you would think that a lot of these people would stop and start thinking, were we brainwashed, I mean, to me, it's just it's obvious, to everybody out here listening to this, it's absolutely obvious. But he was saying, oh no, it's not that, it's because Lukashenko has been there so long, and that I think with him saying, oh, the elections are fraudulent, or they appear to be fraudulent at least, and all that, and I'm kind of like saying, like, well, welcome to the club. What about all the, virtually all elections? Look at Romania, and they admit it. They cheated that just recently. What about Georgia just recently? These are just the ones that just in the past couple months, or maybe less than 2 months, that it's all very well known, and it's all done with United States money. And it's amazing that Lukashenko has been able to withstand all that here, because they were working on that, and they have buses, like from everywhere, and they pay people, and it's like free bus rides, free food and everything to bus them from all over the place. And Lukashenko, I think he opened up the borders, for people that they could come in. I mean, just generally speaking. So then they use that against him, and they use the freedom of speech against him. So if you see how this works, people, you have a freedom of speech and the freedom of the press and all that sort of thing. And the U.S. has more money than everybody else, and they take the taxpayers' money to the tune of tens and hundreds of millions of dollars, and they buy the truth. They buy what they want you to think the truth is. So if you go back, I think it was even in the 1890s, and I think it was the Hearst newspapers, I'm not quite sure. And of course, this was echoed in a little bit different way by somebody who owns a publication. I think I don't know, it was in maybe the last 20 years, but and I'm not sure, I kind of get it mixed up. One of them said, the news is what we tell you it is, which is true anyway, but one of them is, the truth is what we tell you it is. So in other words, the truth is not what the truth is what they tell us it is, and that's all that matters to them. And they create a whole new truth, and then everybody believes all this stuff. I think I was even saying, like, I don't know, look at Operation Mockingbird, that's another thing. And then all of this stuff, and you can see this, to me, it's mind-boggling. It is just absolutely mind-boggling. And every time you think back on all these things that happened about, like, say, like even Tulsi Gabbard complaining at one point about Google and how all of this stuff is slanted on purposefully, they're getting out huge amounts of money to people to lie to people and to brainwash people. And it's like, I tell you what, I'm in the morning and I'm sitting there thinking, going around like this and saying, boy, they've been lying to us about virtually everything. It's like, what is the truth, But of course, I know that they've been lying, and people that watch this channel, they know that there's just way too many lies, and then they suppress channels such as mine. And it's not like I'm going to be some great big star and get 50,000 subscribers and 5,000 views a day or whatever the deal is, but I would probably be getting a lot more, but they suppress it. And like I said, I've seen, like, sometimes I have views, and then I look again and I have less views than what I had earlier. And it's like, what the heck? How did I get minus views? And I mean, there's all sorts of things. It's some weird things, and it's like, I kind of really wonder how many views I would normally get. And then, for example, if I would get more viewers, as I'm saying, and then it would maybe, incentivize me to do things a little bit differently, and to do things maybe even at better quality, put money into it if I'd earn money. I don't know. It's not my goal, but that might be the case if I were to, have some sort of a success at this. But I don't know. I did some things on TikTok before I was doing this, when I was living in Baranovici, and I had far more subscribers and many more views, much more, which is really strange. And then you're on YouTube, and I don't know. And I seem to get around, within the first day and a half, maybe 60 something, 70 views. And then some videos, I get a lot more when it's about something like the subway in Minsk or whatever, 400 views or whatever the deal is. But anyhow. And then I was even mentioned, there's guys that just, they're living in Russia in some small town, and every day he goes and he films himself throwing his garbage out, and he goes to the shop and buys a few things. He shows the cans or the packages to the camera, just a few things, and then he goes home, plays with his kids while his in-laws are cooking the food, and I guess his wife is working, and his kids are playing on the floor. Maybe he plays a little bit with them, and that's it. And he gets I don't know, over 1,000 views. It's what the heck? Maybe I got to do the same thing. Maybe I got to, get myself, throwing out my garbage. I don't know. That's sort of a deal. Okay, let me keep going on this. Stop. Gosh, you distracted me and got me off into some other different sort of a deal here. Yeah. So actually, I was going to talk about that. I didn't even know I wrote it down, about talking about, these people, and they've been controlling the press for a long time, even into the late 1800s. It's incredible. Oh, my fingers are starting to feel frozen. Yeah, but it's you see all this corruption. It's you say, oh, something smells rotten in Denmark. And, oh, God, I shouldn't say Denmark, because Trump, when I hear that, Denmark, Greenland, oh, or maybe somebody say, Denmark, they gave all their fighter jets to Ukraine, and now they don't even have an air force. There's no way they could even defend themselves if the United States started bombing Greenland. And of course, that they couldn't go against the U.S. anyway. It makes you wonder, what's the point in having a military at all? I don't know. Yes, so old Shakespeare. 30 billion. I talked about that. Got ahead of myself. Yeah. Good. I'm starting to get through these cards. I was worried. I got 2.5 cards to go through. Okay. And a lot of people are talking about this admission that the United States put in at least $177 billion into Ukraine since 2022. Since 2022. 177 billion. It makes you really wonder how much more. And the EU, how much did they put in? They matched it. If you take all these countries in the EU, including Great Britain, well, just say Canada as well, that it's at least another 177 billion, if you want to say that. So this is huge money. And don't forget, what about all these private companies, Cargill, and don't even mention BlackRock. BlackRock has more money than most countries on Earth. And how much money did they sink in? Buying up farmland for pennies on the dollar. How much of the land in Ukraine actually belongs to, so to speak, belongs to these jokers, this BlackRock? And you have to ask yourself the question, well, what happens if Ukraine loses? And how much would they lose? And, I'll tell you, Donald Trump, I'll bet you he works for BlackRock to a certain extent too. At least he's gonna be working for their interests. Let me just put it that way. If he goes into some sort of a negotiation with Russia, and they're an incredibly rich company, and he's going to probably want their favor as well. And he's going to talk like a tough guy. As he comes out with something totally impossible, and then he kind of deals down a little bit from that. And so what is he going to do for BlackRock? If you think about this, BlackRock. So he's going to act like, well, actually he's acting like the tough guy probably against Russia, that he's going to send not U.S. troops, but they're going to put some NATO troops, Great Britain and probably Germany or whatever, on some kind of a buffer zone. And of course Russia said that's a non-starter anyway. So, but he's only put that out in rumors. He hasn't put that out officially. So, that's volley number one. And then he's going to probably be coming with some other things as well. And then he's going to have to be playing the same sort of a game with some of these big corporations. And of course, that will be BlackRock mainly. And who knows what he's going to actually be settling on. But he's going to be trying to do more good for them than he is for Russia. And it's just like what he's doing now in Palestine. And I shouldn't even be talking about it, but it sounds like he is really set on kicking all those people from Gaza out of there, the ones that have been there for a few thousand years, and giving it. He says that it's going to be taken by the United States, but that means he's going to give it to Israel. So it's going to be Israel, and that's why Bibi Netanyahu is so incredibly happy. So there's been some talk in the back room, and Trump, he might even pull a couple things on Bibi a little bit, where who knows. So why would the United States want to be governing some place like that? So it would look more like a personal thing for Donald Trump, making the United States government part of a tourist agency or whatever. I don't think so. This is not going to really work. Makes you really wonder what the real solution is going to be to this. And everybody, I mean, you got people pissed off on different areas. There's a lot of people, as you know, that are for human rights, real human rights. I don't mean LGBT human rights and pedophiles and things like that. I mean real human rights, that you just can't go in there and kick some people out of their land. The United States has done it before, and they were called Native Americans, and they just kept kicking them out, but they never expelled them completely from the soil of the United States. They just pushed them into enclaves. But they want the Gazans to leave completely, and to do with something like this in this modern era, I think it's a great big no-no. And what these people want is their own land that they've had for thousands of years, and not to, be shoved off to somewhere else. And they're not powerful enough to stand up for themselves. Saudi Arabia is kind of acting a little bit like that, and I think Turkey is a little bit pissed off, but maybe it's just acting. What are they going to do? Are they going to go against the United States, against Donald Trump? Donald Trump, as you know, he uses leverages, maybe from people that trade with Turkey or whoever, and I don't think he's going to be able to go after Saudi Arabia in that way. And it's going to be interesting to find out what's going to be happening here. So I'm just talking. Okay. And let's see, 2000. So, and I was talking about all this money that went into Ukraine, but if you go back to 2014, maybe go back to 2004 and ask yourself, well, how much money has been put into Ukraine since those days? Not anymore 2022 or 2014. And I think with Victor Nuland, she was talking about the $5 billion, and obviously I think that goes back to 2014. But that doesn't talk about private sector money or anything like that either. So I tell you, it's some big money. And maybe even Zelensky, all of his houses and all that sort of thing. Oh, I don't know. I was going to say something else about Zelensky, but I won't do that. So it's you also have to ask yourself, what this big goal is, and everybody knows what the big goal is. It's to enact a strategic crushing defeat on Russia and bring Russia to its knees. That's the whole deal. And a lot of people are wondering, well, how far are they on that? How much has it worked so far? And there's different steps. One of them is, of course, to kick Russia out of the Crimea. That was the goal for many decades, and now, of course, that one's completely failed, and it's done the opposite. Now Russia is entrenched in the Crimea. So it's like, a lot of people write in history that says you never mess with the Russians. You just simply don't mess with the Russians. And after I've been living here, and you see the mentality of how the people are, and it's just to them, it's giving up is not an option, and they don't even think of it. I mean, it's a completely foreign thing for them. Like, give up? What is that? So they're not going to give up. And you know what? I tell you what. That's when it concerns to doing like the right thing. I mean, they might give up on something if they were ever, like what happened in Afghanistan, something like that. That wasn't their land or nothing like that. But I tell you what, and this time, the United States is going to lose. And I think even Scott Ritter's been saying that. And now Scott Ritter is, I don't know, he's saying other things, but it's more about Palestine and all that. And Project Ukraine. Anyway. Something sounds like something's coming over there. Yeah, but I don't know. The United States and the West in general, they want to gain control of Russia's resources. And first they do this and they conquer that, kick them out of here. At least that has been their goals. And then, of course, at the end, they're going to be the masters of the universe. And Trump wants to become the master of the universe too now, but he's only got 4 years to enjoy it. I don't know. I doubt if he's going to try, because he didn't do it last time, and I doubt it's going to work where he could ever extend his time in office. So a lot of people are afraid of that. But just think, in the days before this 2014, it was Russia, and everybody in the West was so scared, at least all these globalists, they were really scared of Russia and Germany getting together. One has tremendous energy, one has great production capacity, and those two together would have been a team that would be like the dream team, and they would have outdone the United States like nobody's business. And they could have possibly even maybe sent some competition to China. But I'll tell you what, even if the United States thinks they're better than China, China is far ahead of the United States in so many ways right now, and there's no competition. China is way ahead of the United States. Did I just say that? I mean, it's like, the United States didn't know that. I mean, all these people in the government, we are the masters of the universe as it is now, and nobody can compete with us. Biden said the same sort of a deal. As you know, that's a bunch of poppycock. You hear more and more about China. China's more technologically advanced in so many ways, and they can outdo the United States in just about everything, production and all that. I'll tell you what, if China gets around to it and they want to have a far more powerful and bigger military than the United States, they can do it. They can do it in a very, very, very short time. But I think China, they're not as aggressive as the United States wants everybody to think so. They want you to think, oh, look out, China, they're going to get us. We have to defeat them. That's how the United States works. Everyone, we're the underdogs, and we have all these people trying to get us, so we gotta go after them first. We gotta fight them there, so we don't have to fight them here. All that kind of stuff. Oh, this big massive power of Iraq, this massive power, massive power of Afghanistan. I don't know. Maybe they didn't say that about Afghanistan, but they said it about Iraq. They said Saddam Hussein wants to take over the world. He said he's the new Hitler. Everybody's the new Hitler whenever the United States has an enemy. So Putin's a Hitler, and I don't know who else. Whoever the next one is, they're going to be the Hitler too. So I don't know. I find some more similarities to Netanyahu than Adolf, and maybe even Zelensky, maybe even Trump. I don't know, than I do to some of these other leaders that they call Adolfs. Yeah. Yeah, but I think the USA is going to be trying to pick off certain countries as time goes by. They're working on India, as everybody knows. They're trying to sway India to, what does it say, so to speak, stab Russia in the back. And, they can probably easily do that, maybe drive a wedge of contention between India and China without any problem. Kind of already exists. So, but they're going to try to do that with Russia and India as well. So, yeah, and what else? I don't know. I think I mentioned it last time as well. It was like that the CIA tools. There's the Voice of America and Radio Free Europe, and all that. And there was actually these things are connected with a lot of other organizations, and not just like the NED and the CIA and all that. So, but you all have heard of the Voice of America, Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, and all this. And there was one. This is, I guess, an oversight agency. It's called the USAGM, or the U.S. Agency for Global Media. And Musk said this group of radical left crazy people that are talking to themselves. I think he's mostly, maybe was he talking about Voice of America, but anyway, it's this whole group. And it's, just like it says, it's to control the global media of everybody, propagandize everybody. America is the best place in the world, and they're unbeatable, and we are the good guys, and your leaders, when we decide, are the bad guys, and they're out to get everybody, things like that. It's you guys all know this all stuff in a nutshell. It makes me wonder if NPR is definitely in part funded by the United States government, and of course so is like CIA, and I mean wait a minute, the CNN and a lot of these other ones. So I don't know, it's government, it's just like General Motors, called Government Motors now, and all that. And talk about, what is this? It sounds like socialism. They're using socialism and becoming socialist to go after and fight against socialism. But it's like socialism for rich people, more or less. You guys know what's going on here. And that big software guy, as you all know, he's heavily involved in NPR. The big software guy that I can't mention his name. I've heard other people mention his name. Maybe I can mention the name. Maybe it was just that I said it in connection with other things, and that's when they take me down. I don't know. You know, the guy also from Seattle. Actually, matter of fact, he's from the same town as me, like I mentioned before. Terrible. You know, and let's see. But if I don't know, maybe it's how I mention it. The algorithms go after me. And the Voice of America alone, their annual budget, $267 million. So when they put 30 million of that in that 1 year in Belarus, or maybe a few years in a row, you know, that's kind of a drop in the bucket for their big budget. So, but it isn't. You know, you can buy a lot of people, and in Belarus, you know, things are cheaper over here. So that's like maybe putting 50 million, and then they put another 50 million in through other agencies, through Europe and all that. And but anyway, they give the taxpayers of America mostly, and of course the whole world, they give for Radio Free Europe, their budget is 142 million. And then there's also this other USA agency, and this is another one. I mean, there's just no end. How many of these agencies are there? I mean, you hear all these letter alphabet sort of things, like not just NED and, you know, NSA and CIA and FBI and USAID and you know, I mean, radio, RFA, VOA, Voice of America. Here's another one, and it's called Internews, which is also tied with Soros, part of the Soros and the Clinton people, and of course the software guy and his, you know, and this company kind of related to that called Microsoft, you know, NED, and it's been around since the 1990s, and obviously it's all for this wicked stuff too. But like I said, the short of all this is the United States spends billions of dollars, you know, mostly feathered out from the American taxpayer, but through everybody in the world, billions of dollars to control the minds of everybody on earth, when you think about it, because that's what this is all about. You know, and I don't know how many tens of thousands of people all over the world are out there doing the bidding of this talk about an evil information empire. So what the heck is the good of having something called the freedom of press when there is no freedom of press? I mean, this is incredible. That's how incredible this stuff is. And a lot of people say the basis of a real democracy would be freedom of the press. You know, like a freedom of speech, freedom of the press. But that does not exist. So what the heck, what kind of a world are we living in? You know, that makes you really wonder. Yes. How much is it, you know, the staff? I mean, so many staff you got to pay. And there's another thing. They haven't even started getting into this, but they can as well. And Israel does this, and everybody knows that they do this. A lot of people that leave the military in Israel, you know, they have a job afterwards, a lot of them, and they sit behind computers and desks, and they scour the internet looking for any kind of negative information, for example, against Israel. And you know that they do this as well from USAID and all that, and they pay these people to try to scour the internet, just like I mentioned this software guy. I'll tell you what, there was a lot of information about that guy all over the internet, and people made, there was a I think it was called, what was it, the American Vagabond or something like that, and I think a lot of it was about, anyway, it's about a lot of corruption in the US as well. And the people there was 16 people doing research, and one of it, part of this, they said, and I remember seeing this, it was from Ben Swan, and he said that these people, they went looking for some of the dastardly deeds that this software guy was doing in India and in Africa, and it's the internet is scoured, it's not there. And they said they searched and they searched and they searched, and none of that stuff is there. And I've even known of things, you know, and you're sitting there, or you watch it sometimes, some kind of a film or a video on YouTube, and it's like you can't find it anymore. I mean, talk about power. But all these people are out there, and they can scour the internet and disappear this stuff. It's incredible. It's incredible. I don't even know how it's done to where people can't re-upload it or whatever. Anyway, I'm really getting cold. My face is freezing now. The things I do for you guys. I'm almost done, thankfully, because I can't feel my fingers anymore. I already talked about Samantha Powers. No, I saw I meant that. Well, a lot of this stuff from the USAID, the main whistleblower, and of course it's the guy that got Elon Musk a little bit most riled up, because this guy has a lot of information. His name is Mike Bence, but there's others. There's other people that come out, and they're probably going to somehow be trying to cancel these people too. Maybe they're going to get in some bad car accident. You know how that stuff, you know, these coincidences somehow always work. Supposedly Elon Musk is now going after the Department of Education. Somebody came out and said, there is no Department of Education. Oh, well, I didn't know. I don't know. I don't really know. That's none of my deal. But I was going to say, and I forgot to mention that in the last video, but can you imagine what's going to happen when they start, you know, auditing the Pentagon, you know? You know, they're going to find, it's not going to be hundreds of billions of dollars. I mean, we're talking, I'm going to throw this away too. We're talking about trillions of dollars. And I'm starting to wonder, where in the heck does all this friggin' money come from? I mean, obviously it's not printed. Most of this is all electronic anyway, but it's like, you know, what the heck is going on? And it's like, you don't have to wonder why we have such high inflation and why everything is so expensive. And you think about it, if it's from the United States where they're robbing the entire world of resources, you know, you would think that they would have the cheapest prices for everything on planet Earth. But how is it that a lot of stuff is cheaper here in Belarus, and you have some high quality products of food and all that? And you go to like Indonesia and some of those places, it's even much cheaper. But you would think, so it makes you wonder how much money, they've got to keep the prices high in the United States, because that money comes out of American people's pockets and it goes into getting bombs for Ukraine and what was it, the huge billions of dollars, and then the biggest bombs on Earth that are non-nuclear are also now being sold to Israel, and it makes you wonder what the heck is Israel going to do with those. They're just not nuclear, but they're going to be dropping them in their next war, and that seems to come about quite often, especially when it's Bibi Netanyahu that's in charge there. But like I said, when they start going after the Pentagon, that's going to be something. Well, what about the Federal Reserve? Makes you wonder, what are they going to find if they start auditing the Federal Reserve? That was something that Ron Paul was talking about back in 2007, you know? And if they start doing that, ooh boy, there's going to be some good stuff. So, I guess now, hope I can feel my fingers soon. That's enough for right now. Look at this nice ice. You can go ice skating here. Obviously you could if you wanted to. It's probably pretty thick. So, yeah, I'll see you on the next one. I gotta get around and start doing stuff, get things done. And I appreciate all you guys that do stick with me and watch these videos, even with all the suppression that's coming from this platform that also is part of this big scandal and stuff too. Oh, there's a guy over there waving for me. He's a translator. He wants to talk to me. So Okay, later. Bye-bye.